Melissa, the U.S. Attorney's Office, as we know, is subpoenaing the Christie re-election campaign and the state GOP. Now, obviously, everybody's going to be looking through what comes back from these subpoenas for any indication that the governor knew that the smoking gun or that he ordered the lane closure for the GWB. But beyond that, are there dangers for Governor Christie here if it's found out that this was coordinated by or even ordered by the re-election campaign? Is that as damaging as it might be if we know that Christie himself ordered this?
Well, it certainly doesn't look good. I mean, he's already let his campaign manager go. Officially, he said for calling the mayor of Fort Lee an idiot in an email. Christie's used that language himself, so you've got to wonder if he thinks there's more to it. So it certainly doesn't help. I mean, it's not the same as directly being tied to the governor. If we find out the governor ordered it or he knew about it, Democrats have already said that they'd be looking into actions to remove the governor if it comes back to him directly. But if it's just people he's associated with, it certainly doesn't look good. It could hurt probably his presidential chances. But it's not as severe as if it were ordered by him directly.
You mentioned that he fired his campaign director, Bill Stepien, who was also online to become the head of the the GOP in New Jersey and the Governors Association. ABC and some other places are reporting that subpoenas are looking for email links between Christie and Stepien. I'm wondering if you can confirm any of that in your reporting. And you follow the governor pretty closely. How close is he with Bill Stepien? Is he closer than, let's say, Bridget Kelly or David Wildstein or some of the other people who have already gotten the axe in this incident?
Yeah, well, to your first question, I haven't heard back directly that that's what they're looking for. I did talk to Bill Stepien's attorney yesterday, who told me that Bill Stepien has not received a subpoena from the U.S. Attorney's Office. So I thought that was very interesting. So far, they've only subpoenaed Christie's campaign and the state GOP, so far as we know. But I mean, this is a very close confidant of the governor's. This is a guy who traveled all over the country with him to fundraisers and different events. He was one of his top political strategists. He was with him from the 2009 campaign, and he's got a long history. He's a New Jersey guy who's worked on a lot of Republican campaigns, and Christie really relied on him. This was a big blow to him to lose this person.
So if there was somebody close to the governor who would have known about his role, if there was one, the governor's, it would be Bill Stepien.
You could say that, yes.
Okay. You know, there's talk also that, you know, Christie could be in trouble just finishing out his term in Trenton, much less, running for the White House in 2016. Just from what you're seeing, reaction from other lawmakers, people in the Christie administration, are you getting any sense of that? Is there any bunker mentality setting in among the Christie group?
Well, I mean, so we talked to actually Senate President Steve Sweeney was in our office today for a meeting with us, and I'm working on a story now, and he said that he's going to continue to give Christie the benefit of the doubt. He's obviously a little skeptical about all the allegations that are out there, but, you know, he says Christie said he was lied to. We're going to keep working with him. Democratic leaders said that after the State of State address. After his inaugural address on Tuesday, Democratic leaders were saying that even though all of this is going on, we can't let this get in the way of the work that we need to do for the residents of New Jersey. So while they're investigating the situation, there is a legislative panel looking into this. They're also saying they're going to go forward with bills and different measures they need to do for the voters. So it seems like for now, they're going to continue working with the governor.
You know, speaking of that, the governor's favorability numbers in one recent poll down 22 points. And we see a lot in situations like this. Look to Washington right now. The president's popularity is way down. All of a sudden, even fewer people seem to want to work with him or cross the aisle to work with him. Are you getting a sense that things may be turning for the governor when it comes to dealing with the legislature in Trenton? I mean, they say they want to work with him, but if he doesn't have that popularity behind him, will that be more difficult?
Yeah. I mean, not yet, and he's still got, he did take a 22-point dip, but he's still got a pretty high favorability rating. It's still above 50%, which for any politician is pretty good. Christie had ridiculously high numbers after Superstorm Sandy. He was up at 70% at one point. So he's taken a hit over this, but it doesn't look like Democrats are letting that get in the way right now. For now, they're still saying, like, we've got work to do. It's more important than this scandal that's going on. You know, we've got to get back to work. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. The legislative panel is meeting on Monday. They just merged the Assembly and Senate panels. They're going to vote on that Monday to approve that merger, and then they're going to meet on Monday afternoon, and we'll see what happens. But for now, I mean, Democratic leaders are saying they're going to continue to work with the governor until, you know, maybe it comes out that it was connected to him directly. Then they'll see what happens.
Finally, Melissa, you cover the governor. You see him more closely than we do. You're at more of the things that he's involved with. I'm just curious. obviously his emotions have been somewhat more toned down. He's been a little more somber, a little more serious ever since the scandal broke. But are you sensing a bigger shift than that from the governor at all? Is this, any sense that his spirit might be broken by this scandal or by having to fight back, or is it really just, the guy that you see up on the podium?
No, I think he's definitely affected by it. I think that we usually see a more energized Governor Christie. He's definitely more somber these days. He's been very contrite in his remarks. He has been doing a little bit of joking around, but really not to the level that we're used to seeing. He doesn't have that fiery personality that we're so used to. So it's hard to say whether he's just exhausted because it's been crazy these past few weeks between the State of the State and the inaugural and all of this going on. But you have to imagine that having some of the people in his inner circle, those he trusted most, be implicated in this through some emails, it's got to be taking a toll on him.
Melissa Hayes, political reporter for The Record. She covers Governor Christie, she covers Trenton, and so much more. Thanks very much, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.